Good morning. My name is Shoshana, and I want to talk about how your self work is the most important work that you can do, and it is the primary work that you can do. Everything else in your life, including your providence, your work, your relationships, your household, everything else is in relationship to your inner being. That means if you do the inner work and you are a healed human being, all other aspects of your life will, from that, fall into place as consequence, as effect. So if the cause is you, whatever else is in your life is the effect. So if you are running outside of yourself trying to patch holes or trying to make a living, I don't have time to do internal work right now. I'm too busy trying to make a living and or I'm too busy with this relationship. I have to make it or force it to go a certain way. Then it's like trying to heal something from putting a band-aid on the circumstance or putting a band-aid on the symptom. One thing that I learned from my alcoholism is that alcoholism is a symptom. It isn't the disease, as they speak of. Alcoholism is a disease. I was never able to. Now, I'm saying there is no absolute in this. Everybody, whatever works for them, whatever they can connect to, but it's just like that in any addiction. Anything that we do to alleviate internal pain it is a symptom of whatever is causing the pain. So alcoholism or any kind of other addiction, or even addictions that are behaviors. Behaviors are the most difficult addictions to overcome because we think that they are us. They are attributes of our personality. For instance, behaviors of lashing out when somebody gets too close to or something bothers us, then we lash out, or we go into victim mode, or we start crying, or all sorts of defense mechanisms that we are addicted to. External addictions are easier to see. Addictions to different kinds of drugs, different kinds of alcohol abuse, anything that is external that we're addicted to, weed, any of those things that externally we are addicted to are easy to see, and they're like you have the evidence right there in front of you. But our behaviors are automatics that are in our mind that we think that are us, that we think are part of our personality. Those are the most difficult because, first of all, we don't see them. There's nothing there physical to hold on to. And we perceive it as part of us. And not only that, we're blind to it. It's an automatic. So the internal work, have you ever noticed that there are people that just have this aura about them that they are you can see that they are solved and resolved within themselves. They are whole. They feel comfortable in their own skin, and they uh, tend to know what to do in different situations, and they have this calmness about them. And in their life, through ease, their providence comes, their relationships are loving, they're happy, they are healthy, they have time to do the things that they enjoy to do. And everything just seems to happen in kind of a flow with them. And that is what it feels like when you do the internal work and solve yourself, then everything else comes into alignment for you. Making a living won't be difficult because whatever you are doing to make a living will be aligned with your higher self. It's like doing a shifting from the external to the internal. It's where the bulk of your life, I was thinking about this morning because I got up this morning at 5 something, really early. I took the dogs out for a walk. I came back, I meditated. I started my yoga routine. I do once a week a good yoga routine, usually on Sundays. Today is Wednesday. I haven't done it this week, and I started feeling it in my body. Every other day I have a short 10-minute routine that I do, just that moves every single part of my body so that so I'm not like that. And so I started my yoga routine, which I didn't have time to finish because I had to get my boys up and get them off to school. And while I was doing yoga, I was thinking to myself that there has been a shift in my life over the past 10 years from the constantly having to do things external. I have to get up because I have to do this. Everything was under pressure and everything seemed very rigid and uh, almost like, first of all, scary, and all the have tos and the fears and the anxiety and always running after my tail, never managing to do everything that I need to do. And it seems like my whole life shifted more into um, a relaxed state. My relationships and being able to take my mother to the doctor or do my yoga in the morning and do my meditation have become the self-preservation and self-work has become the main part of my life. And then from that, I do things that I make a living. And those things that I do to make a living come more from a creative place. It's more like, oh, I have this cool project I'm working on now. I'm building my website and putting these are organites into the website with an explanation. It's so I went down to the valley and I did a shoot. Like I took pictures of all of the organites down in the valley. So it's like when you do that internal work and you get to that place of ease, the other things are kind of become fun and part of who you are now, and part of your authentic self. And so the internal work is always going to be the most important. The internal work is what is going to create your external world. And then your external world, because it comes from a place of true authenticity, a place that is truly aligned with who you are and your core vibration, then every single aspect, including your relationships, your work, the way that you spend your free time, your vacations, or whatever it is that you do, your cooking. First of all, you're going to be present because you're going to be enjoying it. It's not like a punishment. Oh, I have to finish this. There's no rigidness in it. And you enjoy it and you become present in it. And when you enjoy it and you become present in it, you do it that much better. And not only do you do it that much better, it is an actual product and it's like an extension of yourself. So it is aligned with you and life becomes joyous. And life it doesn't look like a punishment like it used to. I have to get up and I have to go to work and I have to do this and and the doing part. And it seems like your whole life shifts into uh, enjoyment, or into I am the main point of my life, not all these external things that I have to do and have to please and have to make up. And I did a video the other day about your people, your people are waiting for you to come out of the box. And the point of that was really coming back into being your authentic self and allowing yourself to fully shine out. And then you ask the question, well, how do I do that? Because I know that a lot of us have felt or feel like, okay, I want to be my authentic self, but I don't even know how to let go. How do I do that? How is that done? What does that even look like? I'm so used to how I am that I don't even, letting go feels, first of all, scary. Second of all, what does it look like? What does that even look like? What do I just quit everything I'm doing and just let go? Sometimes it looks like that. But for the most part, it is a process. It is something that happens gradually. Once you put your intent on it, then you become more and more aware as you progress through life of what you're doing, why you're doing it. You start asking yourself the true questions and you start shifting into the more and more authentic me, the more and more who I really am. And at some point during the spiritual awakening, it takes you. You can't be dragged down. You can no longer be inauthentic. So one is just trust the process. The process is leading you there. Secondly, wherever you can find the capability of surrender, surrender. Another point that I found also when I was doing yoga this morning, I was thinking that inside of our bodies, because as you do yoga, things start releasing, thoughts start coming up, you start processing things that you've been going through. And sometimes it's very, very deep things depending on the movement. And there is a memory that is stored in our body cells. So when you're feeling uptight, your whole body is tenses up. And sometimes we hold that tenseness in our bodies for years, especially if there were years and years and years that I was obese and that I was extremely overweight and I didn't do any kind of really body exercise. And first of all, there's toxins stored in the fat cells or in your body. When you don't move it, the toxins, your body becomes stagnant, especially when I was being an alcoholic. And it's funny about alcoholics that alcoholics can recognize other alcoholics even if they're not presently drinking in front of you. Let's say I can walk down the street and I can recognize somebody who has an alcohol problem even if they are not drinking, because it like takes one to know one. You can see it something in the transparency of the skin, something in the eyes, something in the look in the eye, and something in the way that because alcohol is a spirit. It's like they call it a spirit because it is a spirit. It's like you put a spirit in you that alters your way of thinking. But not only that, how do you preserve things? Let's say if I want to preserve a pickle, or if I want to preserve something and for it not to to freeze it in place, I can like put it into alcohol, and alcohol will like pickle it. And when somebody drinks a lot of alcohol for years and years and years, there's something about them that kind of looks a little bit pickled. And I'm not saying this to offend anybody because I was there. I know it takes one to know one. And I think that being that for years I was an alcoholic myself and overcoming it already, it's been over 11 years since I've overcome it. Um, since I've overcome it, overcome. What does that even mean? Since it actually, I look at it as a gift that allowed me to forced me kind of into the spiritual awakening. Because if you are giving up an addiction like that, you're taking away your best friend, the thing that helps you cope with whatever is causing it, right? Like the symptom thing. Alcoholism is a symptom. It alleviates the pain of inner turmoil. So when you take that out of the picture, now you have to deal with whatever was causing you to run away in the first place. And so it kind of forces you into the spiritual awakening. I see it as one of the greatest gifts that I have ever gotten. And so having said that, back to the point, in the body, inside of your cells, there are, and in rigidness, there is trauma that is stored. There are all sorts of insecurities that are stored. So when you start moving your bodies, there's so many different ways to get to the same outcome. When you start stretching and moving muscles that you haven't moved, all of a sudden, whatever is in those muscles is released into your bloodstream, into your body. And with it, emotion is stored. There's things that are stored in that, and you start remembering all sorts of things, and you begin to be able to process things that you didn't think about for years and years and years. All of a sudden they're coming up to the surface. And so there's so many different ways to do the spiritual work, and there's so many different ways to get back to your true authentic self. And really, what I'm finding is it all is in release. You're rigid, you're holding, especially in pain. If you're going through pain during the spiritual awakening, your pain is, you're pushing against cause and effect. You're pushing against what is, rather than saying, okay, that's what is, I accept it. In acceptance, there is release. So first of all, you have to reach for it. Seek and you shall find. You have to know that you want to release the inauthenticity, and you want to come back to your authentic self. Reach for it. Just in reaching for it will heighten your awareness. Just in knowing that you want to do it, that's the first step. And then once you want to do it, you will be presented again and again and again with opportunities to rise to the occasion. And you will feel like you're tested. Once you start opening your awareness, you will start feeling like you're being tested because you'll be presented with opportunities to rise. Whereas your automatic behavior would have been in the past, you wouldn't have even noticed that opportunity. So first of all, you're in a good place. If you are feeling like you're being tested, that means that your awareness is opening. And if you fall in that pit and you do the same thing, but you noticed it and you only caught it afterwards, don't worry. The world is going to present you again and again and again and again and again and again until you do make a new decision, because cause and effect is the programming of the universe. And if you are out of sync in some area of your life, you're out of sync. You're going to continue to hit up against that wall, no matter what. So, and it's a template, it's a pattern. So if you are running, if the world is running and has a certain grid to it, and you're running like this, no matter what, you are going to hit in the place that you are out of alignment. So you don't have to worry and beat yourself up over missed opportunities. Sometimes you have to pay the price, and that's just what it is. And if you pay the price, just know that that thing wasn't there for you. It was actually your lesson. So it was there for you to get the lesson. And that was actually the opportunity that you did get. And by getting the lesson, you took the opportunity. Maybe you didn't get the cherry on top. Maybe you lost somebody in your life. Maybe a position that you wanted and you flubbed up because you were out of alignment with it, and it flew off the table, and it's not going to come back, that specific position. But in getting the lesson, you got the cherry on top, right? Maybe you didn't get the job that you wanted, or the person that you wanted in your life, or whatever it was, but that is one circumstance. When you gain yourself and you gain the wisdom from that situation, and a lot of times there has to be pain in the loss for you to be jolted into, wait a minute, let me straighten out here. Because if there was no price, there wouldn't be that commitment, or that, okay, I don't want to go there again. I am going to correct this within myself. Because changing a pattern within yourself is very difficult. That's why they say most people don't change. Most people don't have big enough incentive to change. But when you're on the path to enlightenment and you are doing this for you, and you want to be aligned, and you want to get to that, because the sweetness in the alignment, in the enlightenment, in being aligned with God and being in sync with everything around you, the sweetness of that, only sweet comes from that. Only sweet can come from that. That's where you get the perfect job that's aligned with you. That's where you're enjoying and you're present in all the moments. That's where you're enjoying even the lessons that you're receiving, even the things that are taken away from you. You start seeing value in those, because, wow, what an opportunity. I got to rise from this. And you start seeing everything is exactly as it needs to be and could not be any different. Could not be any different. There is a sequence of events. There is a series that you have to go through, because during the spiritual awakening, one level is built on the next level, and we're going back to our authentic selves. So the first thing is just to know that you want to be authentic. Even in just knowing that you want to be authentic, it has to be there. That knowing and that awareness of it. Knowing that there are places that I am out of alignment, and when I find them, it is going to be painful, because I'm going to be losing parts of myself. And not only that, I'm going to have to be looking really hard and deep in that mirror. And not only that, I'm going to have to go inside of me and like rip parts of me, behaviors, automatics. I'm going to have to keep awareness. I'm going to have to be sharp in my mind. I'm going to have to do the work. But in doing the work is so satisfying. It's not only satisfying from the accomplishment, the the outer effects in your life that come from that are so sweet and so satisfying, and so just, it's like just it's the taste of life. Whereas if you're asleep and you're like, I don't want to change, it's too painful, you put those blinders on your eyes, but you're having a him-ha life. And not only having a him-ha life, the things that are in your life are like clunky. They don't smoothly flow with you. And it's like when I did that other video about the people, and your people are waiting for you to come out of your box. And because when you come out of the box and when you come to your authentic self, everything, including the people in your life, everything begins to align with you. You are the center of your universe. You are the most important. And so, with having said all that, I am going out to pick some greens. It's winter and the greens are growing really nice. I'm going to go pick some greens, and I'm going to send you guys so much love. Thank you for being, actually, I was on my way, and this ding, I have to put this out. I came back and made this a video. So I am sending you guys so much love. Thank you for being with me. If you want to book a session, a conversation with me, my contact information is below. So sending you guys so much love. Thank you for being here.